having Dr. DeCaro as an expert in biomechanics and orthotics paired with podiatry, content connection, and their marketing prowess specifically in the podiatric space, I think you guys are in for a treat here to really gain some strong ideas on how you can take your practice to the next level with these strategies. So, Randy, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to hide in the background.
Sounds like a plan. I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see my full screen at this point?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So let me just adjust one of my windows here. And yeah, so we're going to, talk about secrets using orthotics to grow your practice during the holiday season and into the new year. And myself and Dr. DeCaro, so I'm excited to talk about this. And we go on. My name is Randy Rostow. I'm the National Director of Podiatry Content Connection. And most of you probably know us, but if you don't, we've become the #1 comprehensive digital agency for podiatrists only. So our bread and butter is helping small, medium, and some large, but mostly small and medium private practice podiatrists attract more new patients from the web, enhance their reputation online, do things like that. Also, it's about specializing in helping podiatrists monetize what we call special services, such as whether it be shockwave, laser, or orthotics. For about 10 years now, we've been giving back to the colleges to support podiatry as a podiatry-only company. Some of the colleges actually work with us for years now. Barry University and Kent State, we actually do all their online marketing, and they're pretty large clinics within themselves. And, we've given back a lot of money to support podiatry and continue to do that. Now, tonight, Dr. DeCaro will be coming on in a moment. He's got quite a resume here. So I don't know. I mean, I could just read the bullet points, but just speaking how I know him, is a successful, entrepreneurial, driven, passionate, private practice. He's probably one of the top pediatric podiatrists in the United States. Very big on orthotics. I'm learning from him all the time. I just came back from one of his events in Moab, Utah, which was fantastic. And so I'm excited to do events like this with him and collaborate with him. So he can tell you a little bit more. I mean, if there's any highlights that he wants to touch on, but, pretty impressive guy, pretty impressive resume. So looking forward to working with him. And with that, I'm going to, Louis, you could share your screen if you want me to stop sharing mine, or I can work from this slide. It's up to you.
There we go. I'll share mine. How's that sound?
Great.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. So, hello. I'll introduce myself, Louis DeCaro. I'm a podiatrist. Been in practice, I think now 24 years. I practice in Western Massachusetts, and I've been in private practice my whole career. We did, if anyone caught it, and if you hadn't, go back. We did a few secrets to building a successful orthotics practice last webinar. I think it was a month or two ago. I know those videos are online. But today we're going to do part 2. And today is going to be a little bit more focused on the holiday season, which I think Anne referred to. But the holiday season is a really great opportunity to not only grow your orthotics practice, but also remind your patients of the importance of tending to their orthotics, checking on your patients, and also for your bottom line, it's a good opportunity to create a revenue stream. I want to thank Randy, Anne. I want to thank everyone, Sarah, for having me on. This is really a great opportunity. Randy's been awesome to work with at PCC. Is now running our whole orthotics program, doing it with amazing marketing, and he'll tell you all about that program that I've done and been very excited about. You can go check my website out at decaropodiatry.com. I'm going to throw up my email address in a second. You can always email me any questions about orthotics. Like Randy said, we just had a really great American College of Foot and Ankle Pediatrics meeting out in Moab, Utah. We do them every year in national parks. They're the most comprehensive pediatric lower extremity review, I think, in the world every year. We do them in different national parks, and we'll be doing another one next October. And I can't tell you where yet, but it's going to be an awesome place. So, like Randy said, I specialize in pediatrics, but also pay very close attention to biomechanics. What got me into pediatrics is that basically it all starts when we begin to walk. All the biomechanics add up into a lifelong of problems. And so it's been my mission as a podiatrist to prevent as opposed to always correcting. So I'm going to go over 3 quick tips, and they sort of play off the 3 tips that I gave at the last webinar. So if you enjoy this, definitely go back once again and watch the video. When I was in my residency program and then shortly afterwards graduated, we were of the mindset back 25 years ago that seeing more patients would be better, not only for patient care, because you'd be able to get more patients in, but also for the bottom line. And what I've learned in my 25 years is actually the complete opposite. More time with the patient leads to much better education, leads to a much less rushed environment. And of course, and at the end of the day, I am a doctor first and foremost, but I run a practice, and you have to stay in business. And so what we find with this formula of more time with the patient, better education, and less rushing turns into more revenue and better patient care. I guarantee you, with proper education, you can provide better care, you can see less patients than you do now, and you can increase your revenue. So everyone wins. I think Michael Scott coined the term win-win-win, and this is a win-win-win. The patient wins, the practice wins, and you win as a physician because you do actually a better job. I think on average, I probably see somewhere around 16 patients a day. I try to have at least over 10 of them as kids every day. And we spend a lot of time with patients. Every single patient that comes in, and I know I looked at the list before I did this Zoom today. I know many of you have heard me speak on our foot typing patent, but every single patient that comes in, including mom and dad, aunts and uncles, grandma, grandpa, we talked about that last time, having the family come in because these things are genetic. Every person that comes in is foot typed, is given a foot type, and explain to them what that means, both earlier life, during why they're having their chief complaint, and then later in life. And that education is so important for your success because all of us go to doctors. We're not just doctors, but we also have to go to doctors as well. And I can tell you my best experience with doctors is doctors that take the time to educate me and explain to me why. I get this question all the time. Do you ever feel like a salesman for orthotics? And I absolutely, unequivocally never feel like a salesman because my job is to educate the patient. If an orthotic is part of their best treatment protocol, then I'm not selling them an orthotic. I'm teaching them how an orthotic will change their life. It's a big difference. I also discuss price with my patients. I don't hide things from my patients. I spend time with them, educate them, and get them on board for getting better, not get them on board to try to have them spend $500-600 on orthotics. That's not what we do as practitioners. If an orthotic isn't the right treatment, well, then we don't do an orthotic. But, for example, I had patients come in today, and I would get them set up for our orthotics clinic. I take extra time to do a full gait examination, take time to do a static examination, a range of motion examination. And so I'm getting them braces, whether it's like an Aquinas brace for stretching them, or whether it's something that they can wear until they get an orthotic. I'm getting them more comprehensive care. And I think that in itself is not only a huge advantage to your patients, but not only a huge advantage to your bottom line that I mentioned, but also it's a huge advantage to your well-being. I think a lot of us can get into the mode where it's like we have to see 1 million patients, and that's not very good for our well-being and our mental capacity. So you want to keep fresh, you want to do better care. This is a really good tip. Number 2, you have many patients over the years. I don't care if you're in year 2 or you're in year 30. You have many patients who successfully use your orthotics already. Call them, get them in. You don't just want to see patients that don't like their orthotics or are in pain. You want to see patients proactively, get them in yearly, unquestionably. And I'm talking more about adults. You definitely want to get them in yearly. You definitely want to get the kids in twice a year. But these patients are valuable, and I can guarantee you're not tapping into them. And I know we all have appointment reminders and we all do reminders, but there's a lot of these patients that get a pair of orthotics. They think the orthotic is an invincible piece of plastic that is going to last them 30 years. And your job is to get them in before the orthotic starts to fail, before their pain comes back. They're happy. They're not in pain. You're checking them out like you take your car in for service. This is imperative maintenance. They're not complaining to you. That's another good thing. I always joke that I see kids. One of the main reasons that I treat kids is because a lot of them they're not complaining yet. And it's not really a joke. It's true. I try to see them before they have pain. I talked about in the last webinar that pain is not the only reason to treat. These patients are happy with their treatment. They're not complaining to you. They're coming in for their yearly maintenance. They need multiple pairs of orthotics. It is very difficult. If any of you have ever worn orthotics or put yourself in your patient's shoes, no pun intended, they need multiple pairs of orthotics. Who doesn't? If you love your orthotics, you don't want to be changing them in and out of your shoes. You want to keep a pair of this and that. We have multiple options. I do a lot of custom orthotics. All of you know that I co-own Little Steps and Nolaris Quadra Steps. And we put a lot of these patients who have custom orthotics in second, third pairs of our over-the-counter orthotics. But many of them we're putting in multiple pairs of custom orthotics. So get them in. The orthotics need to be checked. Their shoes need to be checked. 50% of failure, at least, of an orthotic is shoe wear and patients wearing them in the wrong shoes. I also find that not enough of us talk about shoes and the importance of shoes, of keeping up with them and wearing them in the right shoes. And shoes change. Just because you prescribed a shoe 2 years ago that was on your list of approved shoes, the Brooks or Asics or New Balance, they may have changed their model, and they may now be a motion controlling shoe where it used to be a neutral shoe. So my staff is always instructed to tell the patients to bring in all their shoes, and I'm making sure that the patients are wearing in the right shoes, the wear pattern is not anything negative, and they're know when to replace their shoes. Patients love this because you're checking up on them, you're making sure they don't get back into pain. They came to you to get orthotics to get out of pain. You accomplished that successfully with a great pair of orthotics. Now your job is to keep them out of pain. The worst patient is a patient that comes in, they've been wearing their orthotics for 5 years, no one's ever checked on them, and now they're in extreme pain. Their orthotics are actually now working against them because the orthotics are so out of balance, and now you're working on an uphill slope to make them better. So avoid that. And orthotics in general, if a patient is wearing them most of the time, they need to be refurbished or rebalanced at least every 2 years. And some of the patients in those D and F categories that you're all familiar with, they can be needed to be refurbished or rebalanced every year. And this is something that patients need to know. And it's an easy educational visit. It's not a stressful visit. It's a really great opportunity to spend 15 minutes, 30 minutes with them, educating them about shoes, foot type, alternate orthotics, what an orthotic does, refreshing them, asking them about their family members, how are your kids, did you give your kids your feed, all those stuff that we talked about in the first webinar. The third, and I think this is really kind of the crux of where we're going with the whole holiday thing, is that the holidays are a really great opportunity to run a special. Of course, this is only for cash paying patients. If insurance covers orthotics, this does not apply. But every holiday season, between around November 14th, 15th, which happens to be today, and January 31st, we offer all of our patients a holiday special on all their custom orthotics. We put in the verbiage part what I just said, that they wear down, but also an average orthotic, really the integrity of the shell is really only expected to last 4 to 6 years if you wear it. And sure, I have patients who come in and have worn their orthotics for 20 years, but the full integrity of the shell is really a 4 to 6 year life. I don't care what lab you use. Furthermore, feet change. We'd like to think they don't. We'd like to think we put them in orthotics and they don't change whatsoever, but they change. And so often patients are recasted every 5, 6 years because the foot changes, not just the orthotic wearing down. So in between, like I said, every year, 2 years, 3 years, a refurbishment of your orthotics is necessary. And we also highly recommend too that our patients have a duplicate pair of orthotics to fill this gap where they're giving them to us to refurbish. It's always good to have a second pair. We have plenty of dogs that eat other patients' orthotics, to have that backup pair just in case. So we offer our holiday special. So this is a sample letter. The prices are not necessarily what we charge in our office, but I just threw up some numbers here. But these are a general idea what a holiday special would be. I use my format of my office in here, but we offer them a pair of original orthotics. Maybe they want something a little smaller to fit in dressier shoes. Maybe they want a dress pair that fit in the dressiest of shoes. And they can get 2 pairs, they can get 1 pair, they can get 19 pairs. But we definitely want to see these patients. We want to make sure that the prescription is still legitimate, it hasn't changed, and that the orthotics are in still good condition or not good condition. I talked about this also in the first webinar. This is back kind of where the education comes. One of the most amazing things, and I'm actually never do this, but I'm going to go back a bunch of slides. One of the most amazing things about the way that I've been able to educate my patients is that you see 2 posters at the top right here. You have the patent, which is the 24 different foot types. And then on the right, you have a little bit of an easier poster to kind of relate to your patients. Every 4 feet are in a category. On the left there, every patient that comes in is given a number. And that number is reviewed every visit. And sometimes that number changes. And when that number changes on a patient, you go from a 21 to a 22 or a 13 to a 15 or whatever you may do, that means the prescription needs to change. I'm a stickler about making sure that a patient gets the perfect orthotic. Once again, all of you know that I co-own a Nolero and we do tons of quadriceps, but if a patient isn't perfect for an over-the-counter, I'm going to educate them why an over-the-counter isn't just good enough. I'm going to assign them a number and I'm going to follow that every year. This is a great way of being consistent with your care. I can't remember, I was on some webinar and we were talking about consistency of care, creating consistency. Yeah, we were talking about it at our ACFAP meeting. You have to do that with patients because you can't just say, oh, I think your arch dropped a little bit or you don't look as good on those orthotics. Being able to foot type someone creates that consistency. So I know many of you on here have done my foot typing class, but if you haven't, I definitely want you to. On that note, actually, finally, our first master's class post-pandemic, which is basically a 16-hour comprehensive course. We lock you in a room and we teach you biomechanics like you've never had it before. We teach you how to number every single patient that comes in, both 6 years old and 65 years old. And coincidentally, or not coincidentally, this year, in 2024, on April 26, 27, we're doing at Bradley Airport Hotel. You fly in, you get off the plane, you walk right into the room, and you're ready to learn. And then you leave the next day. You sleep over in the hotel. You walk out of the lecture hall the next day, and you're at your terminal. It's amazing. It's at Bradley Airport, and we're doing it with PCC. We're doing it with Randy and his team, and we're going to have this amazing program where we teach you the biomechanics. I think we're doing 12 hours of biomechanics, and we're just going to teach you everything pediatric and adult. We've done these, like I said, pre-pandemic, and they were amazing. And then Randy, I think, is going to do 4 hours or so of really how to drive this home, how to market it, how to use his awesome program for doing orthotics. One final note before I hand it back to Randy. If you do other stuff in the office that's over the counter, you can also run a holiday special for that. This here is just an example. Maybe use something for fungus for nails. Maybe you prescribe a moisturizer. Maybe you do over-the-counter orthotics. Maybe your patient has both custom and over-the-counter orthotics. So it's a really great way to offer a discount to your patients for something that they have paid previously out of pocket for, cash, not covered by insurance. It's very, very important that that is stressed to the patient, and you monitor that very carefully, because the last thing you want to do is you want to offer this to patients that have insurance coverage. We all know the legality of that. So I hope that you learned at least a bullet or two from this. I hope that this makes you more successful. You can get this in this holiday season. You can use Randy's team, get on the program, and he'll help you with this. And I totally want to see everyone in that audience with bells on April 26, 27. Randy and I are going to send out a huge blast on this with our agenda, and we'll get you to Bradley Airport. So I've taken up enough time. I'll be here for questions after Randy goes. And Randy, I'm going to have you take the stage back.
All right, I'll take it back. Good stuff. Let me get back in here. So, all right, you guys should see my screen at this point. And Sarah, before I get going, do we want to do this poll now, or?
Sorry, yes. Let me get over to this poll. Does your practice offer any type of holiday specials? Okay, so would that be the orthotics prescribe amount, or the web page inserts, or the weekly amount?
So I think do any of the practices on this, do they offer holiday specials to patients really for anything, and namely orthotics, because we're talking about orthotics? Was this something that some of the practices on here do? Do you do this already? Just get a general idea of if people do this.
I got it. I'm launching. Hold on. Launch. There we go. Okay. Poll is up.
All right. Yuppers and nada. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, just what I expect. Many of you are missing out on really a wonderful revenue stream and a really great checkup opportunity for your patients. So let's get on this. Randy, let's get these people on this.
Yeah. Actually, Dr. DeCaro, I have a question for you.
Sure. Yeah.
You guys ever make available, I don't know if this makes sense, like gift certificates if somebody wanted to gift an orthotic to somebody else to help them? Have you ever done anything like that?
That's a fabulous idea. Yeah. And we haven't. And tomorrow morning when I go in the office, we're doing this.
Right. There you go.
I love it. That's a great idea. I mean, what's better than the gift of orthotics so your loved one can feel better? I love it. I absolutely love it.
The gift of good health.
I love it. I even learned on these Zooms. This is awesome.
How do you like that?
Randy always has great ideas. He's like the
I'll tell you,
treasury of good ideas.
So, all right. So is this poll, is it complete? Should I end the poll? Or
I'll go ahead and end it, and then let's share the results here. Okay. All right. Can you all see the results? Our audience members, give us a thumbs up.
It looks like 79% said that they don't, and 21% said that they do.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So,
okay.
So if you don't do it this year, come to the master's class and we'll teach you how to get that in for next year, definitely. But if you want to get it in this year, we'll try to help you with that too.
I think that's yeah, it's interesting. And so, you know, and I think we'll talk about getting the word out about these things, but I think that, you know, one word that I like is proactive, being proactive, because a lot of times patients left to their own devices, they might end up at the Dr. Scholl's kiosk in CVS or Walmart. So we'd rather them be speaking with and seeing and getting guided by a foot and ankle specialist as opposed to Dr. Scholl. So how do you get the word out about this stuff? So, you know, Dr. DeCaro, I think there's some great points that he made. Now, what I want to pick up on is the kind of the marketing part. So, you know, most people learn visually. So we want to, you know, visually educate and guide patients to proper foot care, you know, from a podiatrist. So, you know, a couple, you know, ideas, you know, And my basic premise is out of sight, out of mind. So things like on your website, on your homepage of your website, orthotics banners on the homepage, so they see it. Something like this, our custom orthotics right for you. When they click on it, it goes to a really cool landing page built out specifically to promote orthotics, and that could be your types of orthotics. So, I think that now if you only dispense custom orthotics, then that's it. If you dispense custom and medical grade, you could show both. But I think again, coming to a website, we don't see any mention of orthotics. What you do see is bunions and ingrown toenail and heel pain, but you don't see orthotics. So, unfortunately, podiatrists get pigeonholed. They don't see this. So we want them to know that you do that. We want, when you come to a homepage, you see some sort of banner that speaks to orthotics. So I want to talk about, how to educate patients online and in the office. So website is obviously one of them. Social media is another. SEO, Google, even in your office, think about if you have a TV monitor in your office or not. Is there a poster on the wall that speaks to orthotics, or is there some digital signage that speaks to orthotics? And all these things, a very simple premise, but again, out of sight, out of mind, or not. Is it visible? So when you come to a website, this is one of our customers. This is part of our new program where you see this, and basically, first thing you see is custom orthotics. And that's not common, by the way. What is common is everything underneath it: heel pain, foot and ankle pain, etc. And again, I'm not a foot and ankle specialist. I'm not a podiatrist, but what I've been told that, orthotics does play a role for heel pain treatment and foot and ankle pain. So even in the descriptions of those things, why couldn't it link to an orthotics landing page, which it should? So I want to show that. And then, if it's foot and ankle conditions or specialties, again, in addition to heel pain and bunions and etc., let's join the club. Let's let custom orthotics be part of this. And by the way, not just custom orthotics, it could be, different types, but online patient education, people always reading online, and Google, of course, loves content. So, blogs, for example, that we write on a weekly basis for our customers are embedded with keywords like orthotics or custom orthotics, that type of thing. And when somebody clicks on that, it goes to a special orthotics landing page that looks like this, with like a video on it and a custom orthotics appointment request form and additional information. So it's important. How about this? Imagine having an ebook on orthotics, and an ebook that is actually customized and branded for your practice and your doctors. So I'm sharing things with you that I would imagine that most of you don't have this because it's just not out there. So again, a branded ebook with your name on it, well written with cool graphics and artwork, it's a good thing. And you can even have it set up so, in order for somebody to download this on your website, they got to put in their the patient's name and their email address, and you theoretically could do some campaigns or drip marketing to those people. In our world, we do something that's mixed in with our blogs and our articles on a regular basis, and they're called spot campaigns, call to action spot campaigns. So like mini ads that are published to your website, Facebook, Twitter, and Google, all done on cruise control. And these things work. People, what we find is like sometimes less is more. Short, sweet visuals, about protect your feet and ankles. Check your orthotics once a year, whether it's a reactivation campaign or try to get, new patients in the door for orthotics. And when you click on these links, by the way, request an appointment, it goes to an appointment page like this. So a lot of our customers are seeing 30 or 40 or 50 requests per month just from these spot campaigns. And with the program we're launching, it's basically, we really upped our game in that department. So with that, Sarah, we have another poll here. When you prescribe custom orthotics or inserts, do you recommend to the patient that they get multiple pairs? And it's a yes or no question. I'm sure curious to see what we get.
All right, stand by.
Mhm.
Okay, I have one that says, how many pairs do you prescribe on a weekly basis? Or I have one that says, does your web page say something about inserts?
Well, I think that, I mean, that I'd be curious to know about that one because we're just speaking about that. So,
Sure.
I find that, I look at web pages for a living and podiatrists only. And, I would say that the overwhelming majority of the time that I find that orthotics is either hidden or invisible on the homepage of most podiatrist websites. But maybe this group is different.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why they're showing up at 8 o'clock at night on a weekday.
All right, so we've got 9 responses so far, and we have more than double that online with us tonight. So if you're multitasking, come back to us
Yeah.
and answer this poll.
Right.
There we go.
And another thing, I could be wrong about this, but I find that a lot of podiatrists are so busy that honestly they don't really look at their website all that much. They don't quite know what's there or what's not there. So some people may think that they are showcasing or showing orthotics on the homepage of the website. They might think that it's just not there. Yeah. So and if you have a really great one, you want to take a screenshot of it and send it to me, I'll send an Amazon gift card to the person that has the best one. Because I love to see some really cool homepages that really where orthotics pops, so to speak. All right, Sarah and Ams, what do you think?
All right, so we've got our results. I'm sharing them right now. So it looks like 70% said yes, your website does mention that you offer orthotics or inserts, and 30% said no, they do not mention it.
Okay. So I'm curious about that. I would almost challenge that because sometimes I find that you have to really look for it. So orthotics is mentioned somewhere on the website. Typically, you might need to click on like a services tab, and then it's on a list somewhere, mixed in with everything else. But I don't see it prominently displayed on websites. So, but in any event, it's good to know. So, okay. So I think it would be nice if there was actually a system that had all these tools that really help you showcase and visually draw attention to orthotics. I think that's a good thing. So, what we've been working on for the better part of a half a year now is developing something. We've called it soul marketing, and it's all about increasing visibility of orthotics, both online and in the office, and your volume of orthotics and profits accordingly. So it's just a quick snapshot of a bunch of features that come together to showcase and promote orthotics in a way that's really never been done before. To take it from like the homepage of a website, and not just the homepage, by the way, but starting with a homepage that is typically hidden or invisible to making it appear through links, through banners, etc. A landing page like you haven't seen before, designed to really promote orthotics with appointment pages, with videos, with tips, and all kinds of really and great images. Appointment forms to make it easy to get in the door to see a podiatrist when we pique their attention. Email campaigns. So, isn't it cool to think about? It's one thing if they come to your website and they see something on your homepage and they click through. That's great. It's another thing to be proactive. And again, that's that word before is that, be proactive during the holidays and during the year to, you can do campaigns, which is part of what we do in the system where it can pull from your EHR system to do email campaigns to promote orthotics. And we've been doing this for years. And the good news is it works really well. Then, our company name again is Podiatry Content Connection. So we're really big on content, meaning that we do content on a regular basis, like every week for all of our customers. So blogs and articles, but we're stepping up our game because we're adding more in the way of orthotics content, more blogs and articles and the spot campaigns I just shared with you. Ebooks I mentioned before, I showed you a snapshot of that. For those that are a little bit more aggressive, want to go above and beyond maybe Facebook and Twitter and Google, things like Instagram and LinkedIn and elsewhere, we have a really cool, like, kind of grab and go images where you can post them elsewhere that all points to you, but all talks about orthotics. And then last but not least, some benefits of orthotics, some neat posters that you can utilize in your office. And here are some examples of it, posters and digital signage. So guys and gals running, your feet could be causing you pain. Ask your doctor today about custom orthotics. Or the one in the middle, custom orthotics provide comfort and stability on the job. There's some people that are on their feet all the time. Ask us during today's visit about custom orthotics. Like your mom used to say back in the day, if you don't ask, you don't get. Be proactive. People need to be led. And this is not about giving the hard sell, just putting something in front of them. Again, if they don't come to you and have this conversation, it's just a matter of time before watching a really cool football game and they see a really cool commercial for Dr. Scholl's and say, you know what, let me just take a drive down to Walmart and go into that Dr. Scholl's kiosk. They will do that. They do that. Or go to the Good Feet store and spend $1,800 on an inferior product that basically, from what we hear, really doesn't work all that well and is upsetting a lot of patients. And they're coming back, they say, why didn't I get this from you? And the part of the reason is because they didn't know. So again, out of sight, out of mind. So let's make it visual in front of them. And this is just some round numbers here, but this seemed to be a pretty decent average. For a pair of custom orthotics cost a podiatrist $100, and they're selling them for about $500. So $400 profit, give or take, could be more, could be less, but about $400. Not too shabby. If you were to do 2 pairs a day, 5 days a week, at a $400 profit, well, that's $4,000 a week. That's 16 grand a month. That's $192,000 profit per year. And again, I work with hundreds and hundreds of podiatrists, and many of them, not all of them, but many have said to me that they love orthotics. It's one of their favorite things to do in treating patients, and they feel good about it, and they're doing the right thing, and they're helping people, and they make more money. I think Lewis said it before. It's a win-win-win. The patient wins because they're getting proper foot care. The podiatrist wins because they're dispensing more orthotics, and the list goes on because the orthotics manufacturers win as well if more orthotics are being dispensed. But if you were to cut that in half, and did only 1 pair per day, it's still a $96,000 profit. And again, this is not like we're dispensing snake oil here. This is a good thing. My corny analogy is I always say that chicken noodle soup is supposed to be good for you, and broccoli, well, orthotics are good for you. They're good for your feet, and they're not just good for your foot and your ankle, but they're good for your spine and your neck and this and that. So they're a good thing. Your health is your wealth. So take care of yourself. And I tell you personally, I've learned to respect orthotics in my feet not hurting me. I'm grateful for that because I remember when my feet and my ankles were hurting me, and now they're not. So orthotics have played a major role in that. So I'm thankful. So just like patients go to you because you're a specialist in your field, we're actually specialists in our field. So doing as a podiatry only company for over 10 years now, part of what we do in working with some of our customers that are a little bit more advanced, a little bit more marketing oriented, is helping them monetize special services, and whether it be laser, shockwave, and more recently orthotics. This new program is really designed to take orthotics from being, like I said, either invisible or hidden, and to really bring it to life online. So we have a lot of fans out there that are saying, like Nadia, I just saw her at the AAPPM meeting in Fort Lauderdale just 2 weeks ago, and she's really, the things that we've done for her practice. I mean, we're making a tangible difference across the United States with private practice. So, I'm pretty proud about that. But now we're looking to make our mark with orthotics, taking this to the next level. So we want to, help more podiatrists leverage the power of profit. I mean, it's a great profit center, and it's and it's totally in your wheelhouse. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here because this is something I would imagine that everybody on this webinar is already doing. You know, it's just a matter of doing it more. And, back to what Lewis is saying is that, if it's a holidays, have a holiday promotion. Well, if there's New Year coming up, maybe you want to have a New Year's promotion or whatever, be creative. There's different, if you Google it, like a calendar of events, you could do a Groundhog's Day promotion, President's Day. But, hey, think like a retailer for a moment. They're always promoting something, but, so we are pretty creative in how we help podiatrists be visible online, promote their practice, and so forth. So I invite you. We have it's called an orthotics acceleration session to gain more clarity about this stuff, learn how to, some ideas about how to market orthotics better online, how to showcase and promote orthotics online in a way that's never been done before, not just online, but in your office as well. And also we take a kind of a holistic view of how you compare to other podiatrists in your area. So if that appeals to you, I know that we're going into the holiday season, we're going to Thanksgiving, and next week is kind of a mellow week. So a lot of people are winding down a little bit early, whether it's next week or the week after, and pick my brain and learn about what we're doing with other podiatrists that are leveraging this and that are doing really well. So if that interests you, you're welcome to text me at 917-572-5088. Just put your first and last name so I know who you are, and just text orthotics, and we could talk about this. If you want to take a more kind of macro view of the whole practice online, because that's really our core service, is happy to do that as well. But this new program called Soul Marketing, we're very excited about it, and it's gonna change a lot of practices and help podiatrists just a whole lot more in the way of orthotics, help them make a lot more money along the way, and help a lot more patients with that. So it is 8:47, and with that, I thought I would, myself and Dr. DeCaro could open it up and take any questions, any thoughts, or any questions that you guys have. But I appreciate your time. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, as I often say.
Well, thank you guys for that wonderful presentation. I liked that you had the two parts. I'm sorry I missed the last one. We haven't had any questions typed into our Q&A or our chat box. So now is your chance. I know you guys have questions about marketing and, getting these products to your patients and in their hands. So don't be afraid. Now's your chance. Free consulting hour.
Exactly. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's no such thing as a bad question.
Right. And marketing is a great thing. I mean, to put on your marketing helmet for a moment, to think about, maybe you should have done this prior, but end of the year. It's the end of the year, getting ready for the beginning of a new year. We're going tomorrow to the Kent State Conference in Orlando. It's our last conference of the year, but my mind is already wound up about the New York Clinical Conference in January, followed by the SAM Conference and what's happening after that. I'm kind of mapping out the year, and again, not to think like a retailer, but I'm trying to think ahead of time. And it's a good thing to do this. And promotions are one thing. Promotions that help your patients is another. And promotions that help your patients and maybe give them a holiday deal, that's another thing. But and again, keep them out of the Good Feet store. We want them to be in your office, not in Dr. Scholl's kiosk at Walmart.
I'll ask a question. Maybe it might get some discussion rolling. So when you said something, Randy, that just made me think, in terms of planning. And obviously it's already November 14th. I feel like we are in full swing of the holiday season, essentially. So not to say that you can't start some planning for December, but one thing that I noticed that I don't notice, April, the month of April is Foot Health Awareness Month. And I rarely see a lot of practices put in a full-blown plan for that month. I always recommend, plan 90 days before you implement a program. So, Dr. DeCaro, I don't know if you've ever done anything for Foot Health Awareness Month. Randy, I don't know if you've implemented any programs for practices for April, but it's November now. So I kind of just want to bring that up because now is the time to start planning for a marketing program for April. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I mean, it's some of the work again. Promotional is a very good thing, but intentional. I mean, you got to be intentional about this stuff. What happens is it's a thing called life. Like we have families and businesses, and there's lots of moving parts. Like all of us on here. Like I know, all of us on here. We're all really busy. We have children, we have businesses, there's a lot of going on. So you got to be strategic. Sometimes we're running so fast, you got to stop and be intentional about it. And,
So,
different cliches, but like, plan your work your plan. I think it's a big deal.
Sarah,
And,
to answer your question, Sarah,
yeah.
early on in my career, I don't do these anymore, but during Foot Awareness Month, we would run screening clinics, free
Mhm.
screening clinics for pediatric patients. Parents could bring
Awesome.
kids in on the weekends to get screened, just to get foot typed and to learn a little bit more about their foot structure and what's in store for them. So
And that's
absolutely, I don't
interesting.
do
I
them
could like,
anymore, but yeah, it's just a great. I think doing screenings and setting those up is such a wonderful thing. We also in the past have done walks with the public as well in local parks where we take a nice walk and talk, walk Q&A. That's a really good thing to do the foot health awareness. So yeah, that is a wonderful opportunity to do things.
well, and obviously, I mean, it's November 14th, and so we're in the middle of Diabetes Awareness Month as well. So it's a little too late to maybe put in a program for this month, but I'm just saying just start making these sorts of notes that when certain months are. Like April is a big one for this industry. So make a note to implement a plan. Make a note now to start planning something for Diabetes Awareness Month in July of next year. So it just popped in my head. It's not quite related to orthotics
No.
specifically. It could be. There's a tie in there. You can always make one, but it just popped in my head. And since we're talking marketing as
That's
well, I
good.
just didn't want to let it go.
We did have a question pop in. Would you like me to read it to you guys?
Sure.
Okay. Dr. DeCaro, I currently offer custom orthotics as a self-pay option to all patients, whether insured or uninsured, with self-pay documentation. Could you elaborate on the potential legal issues of offering custom orthotics this way?
Well, I'm certainly not a lawyer. So I have no idea to give anyone any legal advice. All I will tell this person is that there are certain insurances in the state of Massachusetts, namely state insurances, Medicaid type insurances, that it's my understanding that it's illegal to collect money from patients where it's a covered service. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and these things differ from state to state. I would contact your malpractice carrier or your lawyer and see if what you're doing is above board. Messing around with charging patients money out of pocket where their insurance covers it is not the game that I want to be in whatsoever. If a patient has insurance coverage, we have to honor that. We have to honor what the insurance pays. So, it's state by state and it's insurance by insurance. So sorry, I can't give you more advice, but my best advice is just know the legalities of it.
Yeah.
We've got a quiet crew tonight.
Yeah.
Sarah, you usually have some really killer questions for us.
Yeah, well, it must be daylight savings time. Everyone's like ready for bed.
They're getting ready for Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
Already? No, we
Well,
can't be.
I'm already wearing
no.
my stretchy clothes.
I have a third option. Maybe we answered every question.
Yeah.
But
You guys, yeah, that's the thing. You're just so informative that there's just every stone has been rolled up.
I'll just share something with you. Tip my hat to Carol on here. Carol and I really helped develop this whole soul marketing program. And if we were not intentional about it, and if we didn't continue to book meetings so often to take it from one to the next, so you got to you got to be intentional, you got to be creative. Like we meet at 7:00 in the morning, actually 7:00 for me, 6:00 in the morning for her. And I tell you, once I have my cup of coffee in the morning, lots of great ideas are brewing at that time. We are
no pun intended.
Right, exactly. And whether it's brainstorming, has anybody ever heard of BNI? It's like business networking. These people get together at 7 o'clock in the morning at a diner or whatever they do. They share best practices and so forth. But creativity is a good thing, and I think that what Dr. DeCaro does is, as far as having holiday promotions, to reach out to patients. I mean, it's there to be had. I wonder, that would probably be another good poll another time. But what percentage of podiatry practice are actually doing that? And if you don't do it for the holidays is one thing, but do it for some weird holiday, whether it's Labor Day or Groundhog's Day, whatever. I mean, Carol probably come up with some good ideas. I'm going to, now she's going to start thinking about that. She'll come up with something. But I mean, I think, generally a lot of podiatrists are great clinicians, but maybe they're not as creative as, they should do that. So in any event,
I see a question from Dr. Grossman. Can I take it, Sarah?
Yes. Do you want me to read it?
Dr. Grossman wants to know, do you have an updated sneaker list? A lot of the sneakers on the list are no longer available. Thank you, exclamation point. Dr. Grossman, thank you for the question. I assume you're speaking about my list, which I'm flattered that you call it the list. But yes, we have a list in our office, which we give to patients, and we change every 6 months. Of an updated list based on foot type, what shoes are most pertinent to what orthotic foot types and foot types. So I said foot types twice because it's very important. But yes, we have an updated list. I'm not sure what list you have, but email me. I'll get you the most updated list. And it's something that everyone should be handing out to all their patients who get orthotics.
I am going to put your email address in the chat so everyone can bombard him.
And we're going to sell it to
anyone who knows me knows I answer an email within 28 seconds.
That's insane. So everyone send him all your memes.
Indeed. Also,
not just you, Anne.
Yeah.
I need other people to join me in my crusade.
One thing I'm obsessed with, you'll notice I used to post on it on Facebook quite a bit, and I'm getting back into the swing of it, is this National Day calendar. And so tomorrow is actually National Philanthropy Day. And so I already scheduled a post on podiatrynews.com to let us know what your near and dear organization is, and so we can spread awareness about that. But the reason I bring it up is use these fun tools on the internet. Like tomorrow is National Philanthropy Day. If there's an organization that is associated with your practice, say something about it.
So Sarah, I'm gonna answer that question because I'm turning it into a question.
Yay!
I run the American College of Foot and Ankle Pediatrics, which is a 501c3 corporation, and our mission is to disseminate information on pediatrics and education. And so acfap.org is the place to go. We're actually redesigning the website. So join, become a member, support pediatric education. So there you go. There's something to put on your
yay. See,
calendar.
The National Day calendar is already working.
Awesome.
As you guys were speaking, I was Googling stuff as I'm, trying to be productive here. But that's just, these are fun ways, because I know sometimes it's really difficult to think of what ways can you do interesting marketing. And if you just dive into odd things like this, your brain starts to fire off on all cylinders in different directions. So there are really a lot of fun ways that you can use these search functions and then tie it into marketing programs with your practice, whether it be orthotics or other interesting programs.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, it is exactly 9 o'clock, and I think you guys have delivered a killer webinar. You've clearly answered all the questions, and I think we had a great group of attendees. So thank you to everybody for being online with us tonight and choosing to spend your Tuesday evenings with us. We hope we have made you laugh a little, made you cry maybe, and taught you a little something. And reach out to us if you have any questions. We can always direct your questions over to Randy or to Dr. DeCaro. And Sarah, I'm at a loss. Do we have anything else?
I had to step away for a second. Did we do a drawing? Are we doing that? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah. Who won $1,000? Me?
Me. I mean, I'm the
Actually,
one
I
who
think
gathered.
I think I have to run the report of the
Okay.
attendees.
All right. So keep
Straight
your
on
eyes
through the
peeled. We'll
end.
email. Yes. We
So
always like
I'll
another
I'll
email.
I'll
So you
send
can-
that report to
You guys
Randy
let
and,
us know and who
and
the
he will
winners are,
notify.
and
Yeah.
we'll send that via email, Amazon gift cards.
Awesome. So
Awesome.
yes, we see the list of names of everyone who's still here. So you guys are,
You're in.
Yes.
you're looking
I
golden.
am totally digging all the reactions. Thank you all so very much. Carol, I know you're busy over there working the reactions button. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We
Yeah.
love
Yes.
you. See you soon.
Thanksgiving.
We'll see you
All right.
soon.
Have a
Good
happy
night.
Thanksgiving. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.